Hey guys, this video is a bit late. I planned actually to do it yesterday. Today being a Monday, Tuesday, sorry. Yesterday obviously being Monday, I'm using other days of the week. But anyway, so yeah, I didn't quite get around to finishing part 3 yesterday. If you haven't checked out parts 1 and 2, please check them out. But yeah, time eluded me, if you like. I didn't quite get around to doing what I wanted to do. But anyway, as ever, I hope you'll enjoy this video about my ideas for empowering Indigenous people in the Americas mainly, and that sort of thing. So anyway, here I go. So number 21, I hope for people of colour generally around the world to support Indigenous people from the Americas as much as possible, like people like Black or Asian or mixed race or other BAME, Black, Asian, mixed race or ethnic minority communities, or basically people of colour, POC around the world, supporting or even other disadvantaged groups, perhaps having some sympathy with and supporting Indigenous people from the Americas as much as possible, like helping them to connect together. I think it's one way, helping them to unite is one way to support them, and especially supporting, like as I said before, like Pinewood, I think it's Pinewood or Pine Ridge Reservation in America, which is apparently the poorest part of America. Number 22, I'll try and remember my point, what I was going to say. Damn it. Sorry, I was going to say something. I forgot what I was going to say. Yeah, but yeah, people of colour to support Indigenous people from the Americas, and as much as possible, as I say, around the world. And also, like, one way I think to help them is to help them to connect together. And in the future, it'd be great to see Indigenous people from the Americas in banking and business, and being financially empowered as well as emotionally and financially / economically, emotionally, and in politics and things like that. And very frustrating because I forgot something I was going to say, but anyway, there you go. Number 23, I'd love to do as much fundraising as possible for Indigenous people in the Americas. And again, remember, I'm sure I was going to say something, I forgot what I was going to say for point number 23. But yeah, that was it. Sorry, I remember what I was going to say for point number 22, which is, like, I'd love for Indigenous people in the Americas to learn about neurodiversity, like dyslexia, autism, ADHD and things like that, and like the strengths people with those conditions have despite their weaknesses, and maybe see if there are any Indigenous people from the Americas with those conditions, and see what strengths they have to offer to with creative ideas or different ways of thinking. Like, normally people with learning disabilities are not always the best academically or socially or whatever in some cases, but can be good at other areas. Like, for instance, autistic people can be good academically, but might not be the best socially, but they might be good at areas like maths or things like that. But anyway, yeah, so different strengths that people with neurodiversity can have. But yeah, to also fundraise for Indigenous people in the Americas. And I think it'd be great if people of colour could lobby to give our taxes, or at least some of our taxes basically, to groups like Indigenous people from the Americas, and support other our fellow POC people of colour. But again, like, one of the biggest ways I think Indigenous people from the Americas can be empowered is through unity. Like, I think there's strength in numbers, strength in unity. Sorry, I was getting a bit warm. So my body can't make up its mind when it's hot or cold. But anyway, sorry, I was getting a bit flustered there because I forgot my point. But anyway, so 24 on that note, I think it'd be great to hear from Indigenous people about Indigenous people in the Americas about what dates or days are special in their calendars, or special occasions, or things that their beliefs or ideas or goals or dreams, and also, like, again, how to help them unite together from each possible country and celebrate things like Indigenous Peoples Day, especially in America, and things like Indigenous people in the Americas. I know Native Americans wish to celebrate Indigenous Peoples Day instead of Columbus Day, so I think it'd be great to hear from them about their opinions on that, and maybe, like, how they can discuss with the Italian community, because it often causes conflict, but how they can peacefully resolve those issues as well. Because I think it'd be good to resolve those issues peacefully and legally rather than having conflict, if you know what I mean. Number 25, again, I think encouraging as many people as possible to support Indigenous people of the Americas would be really cool. Number 26, mostly I wish to focus on supporting and empowering Indigenous people from the Americas, but also, like, talk about some of my opinions, like how I'm not a big fan of the saying, or it's my least favourite saying, I'm older than you, or respect your elders. Like, maybe it's a bit of a rebellious thing in me, but I think it makes older people, in my opinion, a bit lazy and hypocritical. So I hope I don't offend anyone, but that's just my opinion, as I often say. But yeah, like me, anyone, if it was up to me, like if God gave me the choice, or if I could ask God, I'd say anyone who gets other people to do errands for them, regardless of age, God would take the strength and energy from the person who gets the person to do the errand and give it to the person who does the errand. So it reminds me a bit of the biblical teaching about the talents. Someone who has, you think it sounds a bit unfair that the person who has more talents is given more, but the idea is that they invested it wisely, and that's why they're rewarded with more. So that's my belief. So as ever, I'd love to hear what you think about that and all my other points as well on that matter. 27. Whatever I don't do today, whatever I don't manage to do today, hopefully I will do next week. Another thing is I'd love to in the future have like a list, or ASAP, have a list of the top contributors to Indigenous people of the Americas, like top companies which support them, politicians or political groups or international organizations which support Indigenous people of the Americas. I'd love to have a list of like maybe a top 10 or even 20 or 30 or 40 or even 100, or maybe in the future even 1,000 companies or politicians or groups or organizations, NGOs or whatever, that support Indigenous people of the Americas. And on that note, I would love to have an NGO that specifically supports Indigenous people from the Americas. 28, again, I'd love to have like organizations which help Indigenous people to turn negative situations, like bad things they've gone through, and into positives, like help to turn the situations around, like the healthcare problems, problems facing domestic violence, or ensure that Indigenous children and women of the Americas are also protected and things like that, but also empowering all possible Indigenous people from the Americas, especially young people, but also like people of all ages and both genders and all backgrounds. Number 28, number 29, again, I hope to encourage mixed race and other people of colour, and just as many people as possible generally to support Indigenous people in the Americas, and like have schemes or programs, if you like, which I talked a bit about before, like teach, #please teach for Indigenous Americans, or train up Indigenous Americans, and mentors for them, and also like banks and businesses teaching Indigenous people of the Americas key skills for business and personal growth and development, and things like financial and economic, emotional and spiritual growth and support as well. I'll say for an oppressed group of people. And number 30, again, whatever ideas I didn't come up with today, hopefully, excuse me, I'll do next week. But as I'm only focusing on Indigenous empowerment of the Indigenous people of Americas until October. So I've only got like 1 or 2 weeks left, but hopefully by the end of this month, all being well, I will have empowered Indigenous people in the Americas as much as possible. And if not, then hopefully next year I'll do a lot better, as I'll learn a lot of things from this year, like a lot of mistakes I made, and then improve. And also, keep losing my chain of thought, sorry. I know I should write it down, but damn it, sorry. Yeah, hopefully I've empowered Indigenous people of the Americas as much as possible, and by the end of the month, and again, learn for next year to improve. And also, sorry, that was what I was going to say. On the 30th of October, on Wednesday, the 30th of October, I hope to talk about what I've learned about, if anything, I've learned about Indigenous people from the Americas, and what I'd like to learn still. And I think I've seen some quite interesting things, like on YouTube, like Indigenous people from the Americas or Native Americans reacting to videos, like Natives React, and things like that. So yeah, so as ever, I'd love to hear what you think about this video. Sorry if it was a bit cringeworthy, but anyway, I thought, because my brother's walking the dog, so I'll have that opportunity having the house pretty much to myself, although my mum's still here, but hopefully I was hoping I wouldn't be disturbed, so but I still sort of flustered and forgot my points. But anyway, I'm out. Peace and love.